That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hello everyone, how's it going? Hope all is well. Hope everyone's doing good. Hopefully you got maybe some kind of a little bit of a preview or announcement that I'd be streaming. I'm trying to get the whole live streaming thing down a bit better. I've only been doing this for 2 to 3 years. Live show for a year. I should probably be better at this. I've done live shows before that, obviously. Been doing the YouTube thing for like 10 years. I've done live shows before that, obviously, but not like on a consistent basis. I'm working on the whole technology side of things, I promise. Anyway, before we get going tonight... Oh, sorry, let me move my mic. Before we get going tonight, I just want to talk, of course, about the Comic Book Club. This month on the Comic Book Club, we'll be discussing Green Lantern Earth 1, and that is this Saturday, May 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you don't know what the Comic Book Club is, it's a live show that is a book club, and anyone that has a legal copy of the book is allowed to join. What is a legal copy? You bought it on Amazon, your local comic shop, eBay, got it off Comixology's online store. Anything legal, perfectly fine. Went to your local library, whatever you gotta do. You also need a microphone and headphones. A webcam is preferred, and you can join the call. I'll be sending out the show link where you just want to watch it like any normal live stream, a couple hours before the event. And I'll be sending out the live link about 15 minutes before the event to give people time to show up, and we'll chat a little bit before the show. But yeah, we'll be discussing Green Lantern Earth 1, the latest book in DC's Earth 1 line. So, hope to see you there. Hope people make it. Should be a good time. Excited for that. Oh, I got 4 people here already. That's pretty good. That's pathetic for most shows, but for me, I'm quite excited. Oh. Anyway, what's going on here? I got little Kelton in the comments talking about Vision by Tom King. So that's cool. Shadow of Batman says, I read GL Earth 1. It's great. Then you should come join the Comic Book Club Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the show itself, and we'll talk about what we'll be talking about. This week, I've got Bombshells United, number 18, Batwoman, number 15, Batman, number 47, a book that is backwards, Batman Wonder Woman, The Brave and the Bold, number 4, Daredevil, number 602, and Captain America, number 702. So we've got plenty of normal books to talk about. And for Trade Talk this week, we have Justice League of America, World War III, Grant Morrison's last volume in the run. So plenty of stuff to get into, plenty of stuff to talk about. And yeah, let's just get started. Let's start off with Bombshells, number 18. I'm so disappointed this book is ending. I'm so disappointed this book is ending. I really thought it was on a great track. Marguerite Bennett was setting a lot of other stuff up, like Green Lantern, Jessica Cruz. I really wanted to see what she was going to do with her, but clearly there was a plan for that character that just had to be scrapped, because the book is ending. And it kills me. It just... right here. I mentioned that I'm talking about JLA World War III tonight for Trade Talk, and everyone in the comments is like, oh yeah, JLA is great. Grant Morrison's JLA run is great. Grant Morrison's JLA run is fantastic, and I'll get more into this when I'm talking about the book. For my money, Margaret Bennett's Bombshells is the best Justice League book. Sorry, microphone, and sorry, headphone users, but bar none, Margaret Bennett's Bombshells, in my mind, qualifies as a Justice League book, and it's the best Justice League book ever. Morrison's run is pretty great, but it has its issues. This is just so good. The last story arc's been pretty interesting, and I really do get the sense of, okay, we just got to wrap it up. That's all it's coming down to. It's just, we have to wrap it up. There's no time to develop a lot of this in a more natural way. And so with that caveat, like, a lot's going down really quickly. But it's still pretty damn compelling. In the last issue, Steve Trevor died. Spoilers. In the last issue, Steve Trevor died. And it's like an emotional ending, but you think there's going to be more time with that, and there's just no time to do it. So we just have to acknowledge it and move on. And I don't know. Ultimately, it kind of works given the context of Apocalypse is above Earth and is invading now. They really get down to just how hopeless the situation is, because yeah, Earth is great and it's got all these super heroines on it and everything, but Apocalypse's legions are endless. Limitless fresh troops from Apocalypse as our own soldiers fall. We've got Black Lantern showing up, which just, oh man, I really wanted to know what Margaret Bennett was going to do with Green Lantern. Damn it! I wanted it so bad the whole time. Amanda Waller decides to drop the A-bomb to try to stop an attack, but it's halted by Katana, which is pretty cool. It's just kind of craziness. The Joker as an evil embodiment of a spirit of chaos is defeated. I mean, it's just too quick, but it's still, like, really cool just how freaking harsh he is, and all the evil things he has to say to Harley. Like, I love when he's, like, talking shit to Poison Ivy, and he just basically goes, every rose has its thorns, huh? Love hurts, and it's gonna hurt worse when I make Harley bury you. Oh, that is so twisted that the Joker's back, and now he's got, like, magical evil powers, and he's gonna turn Harley Quinn on turn Harley Quinn on Poison Ivy. That's what he wants to do. And it's just, oh, that's creepy. So yeah, this is a Cliff Notes version of, I think, the story Margaret Bennett wanted to tell in order to conclude Bombshells. And I think that we still have one issue left in this run, maybe 2 issues if we're lucky. And it's just disappointing because it's such a good series. Batwoman shows up to fight in Gotham. We have, like, all these cool panels showing around the world of all these heroes we've met along the way fighting the bad guys and whatnot. Like, I love this. You got, look, just a panel of Green Lantern looks super cool. Look at Carol Ferris, it's cool. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in this, and it just makes me even sadder that it's ending. Superman and Power Girl, it's too good. Lex Luthor fighting with his sister. Oh man, he gets a redemption moment. Sweet. Lots of craziness going on. Zatanna's been turned into a mystical weapon against her wishes, which is pretty good. And the last line of the issue is, "For I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," which is, it's interesting that the issue opens with the justification of using the atom bomb, and it ends, like, even though the atom bomb gets stopped, it ends with Zatanna quoting Oppenheimer. That's really cool. That's really smart stuff. I really, really like it. Oh, Bombshells, I'm going to miss you so much. Margaret Bennett just knocked it out of the park, and I blame every single one of you people that didn't read this book for killing something beautiful. Ah, it's so good. Shadow Batman says, Ian, you say Grant Morrison's JLA has its issues, but every comic has its issues. Yeah, but I'm not going to dispute that. JLA by Grant Morrison has issues. Bombshells has issues, but for my money, this is a better Justice League run than Grant Morrison's Justice League. To be fair, she got to create her own universe, so she gets a real leg up there. She gets a whole leg up there on what she can do with a team. Anyway. Let's see here. Philip Kelton says, hey, I don't have money. I read what I can find on the web. Fair enough, I guess. Shit happens, man. Then those issues get collected in trade. Yeah, I might have to go and just buy all the trades for this because it's a really solid run. Shadow of Batman is clever. He didn't mean that, yeah, every comic has issues. He meant every comic has issues. Get the fuck out. Oh. Anyway. So yeah, Bombshells, such a great series. I adore this cover. Oh, man. Referencing Iwo Jima, but doing it with the bombshells, and very, very intentionally choosing a flag of the world, of the earth, instead of an American flag. Oh, that's so good. Oh. Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Akuma Ranger says, honestly, I could still see main continuity Joker using that rose line on Ivy. Yeah, totally. It's definitely within character. I'd certainly agree with you there. It's a cool-ass line. It's a cool-ass moment. Shadow Batman says, if anything, they'll probably do well in trade. Yeah, and this is the problem with comic books as an industry, is trade sales don't count as to whether a book is going to continue to be published. And that's just dumb, because I know so many people who trade weight, and even I trade weight from time to time. I do a monthly show or a weekly show on comics. I should probably not be trade weighting. I should get everything in singles, because that's ultimately cheaper, but I trade weight sometimes on certain runs, on certain books, like Star Wars. I trade weight on Star Wars because I think it reads better in trade, and a lot of things are written for trade, so you should, sometimes it encourages you to trade weight, but it kills the sale of the book. It's a real pain. It's a really unfortunate thing, and it kills great titles like Bombshells. Guys, I just realized that because of my shirt and my lighting, I'm kind of like fading away and I look like kind of just a floating head and a pair of arms. So I'll be right back. I'm going to put a different shirt on that's more camera appropriate. By the way, this is exactly how stage magic is done. Alright, there we go. Nice Stalin Superman shirt to wear instead. And I'm going to get hot as balls because I just threw it on over because I didn't want to make you guys wait, but that's okay. Sacrifices must be made. Mano says, I can't afford to buy a handful of titles every week anymore. Fair. I understand that, but it's unfortunate because the industry doesn't count trade sales, so what the fuck are you going to do? Anyway, moving on from disappointment, let's go ahead and talk about Batwoman number 15, also by Margaret Bennett. For those of you who don't know, Margaret Bennett just kills it. Seriously, this is both cool and epic and really deep. I hope this series isn't in trouble because I really love it too. You know, for as much as I like Margaret Bennett on Batwoman and stuff, Fernando Blanco fucking kills it on this book. His art is just horrifying in the best possible way. That's such a creepy face. Oh god, I love it. Oh, it's too good. It's too fucking good. And he shows some versatility here, because like we do this whole section in Alice's head of what what Alice thinks of her and Kate's story and who they are. And so since she's got like this whole obsession with stories and everything, it's told like an old fable fairy tale book. That's too cool. I really like that. So it's neat subversion and difference, and then you get like, you know, classic superhero action. I wonder if that's a stat panel of her face. No, it's a new panel. It's nice, consistent, cool stuff. Cool panel layouts too. Like, I feel like I should have had trouble reading this, but it flowed so perfectly. I knew exactly how to go across the page, and it worked really well with the action. Especially since everything Kate's doing is revolving around her sister right now. I like that. And there's a lot of that throughout this issue. A lot of deep, intricate things going on with the paneling. But the basic premise of the issue is Kate Kane's evil sister, it's comic books, has released a giant crowd of bats over Gotham City. And the bats are infected with the virus. And here's the thing. The virus doesn't kill within minutes, because that's pointless. You don't want a virus that kills you within minutes of catching it, because then you have no time to spread it. You want a virus that, like, takes over and takes time so that the person can spread it, and it's highly contagious, and then you want it to be incurable. And so, yeah, they've designed this virus, and they've released it in bats, and it's just a really clever, deep thing to pull there. I really like it. It's a big fuck you to Kate Kane, and you're just getting, you just get such cool panels. God, that's so epic. So that's like, so you have all these bats releasing this virus, and Kate has to form a plan to deal with the virus itself and deal with the bats so they don't keep spreading it. And she figures out that there's definitely going to be an antidote to the virus because it was designed by Crane, Scarecrow. It was designed by Scarecrow, and since he was working for someone, he knew he didn't want to be... he knew he could be considered expendable, so he made sure to create an antidote for the virus in case it was ever used on him, and she's got all Crane's data. So they're working on getting the data, and then Kate's trying to figure out, okay, now what do I do about the bats? And so I really love this line. The bats, the plague, have to stop them. Where are you going, Kate Kane? My siren. Breathe. My siren. What can Batwoman do that Batman can't? And so they keep using the word siren, and they're talking about what can Batwoman do that Batman can't. She gets in her jet and broadcasts on an ultra-low frequency that humans can't hear a bat mating call, and gets all the bats in Gotham to follow her. She also does like hunting calls and other stuff but like I really like it's the choice of a mating call to get all the bats to follow her and get them out of Gotham. That's really, really good. Coom Ranger says, I find it interesting that Alice's plan to destroy Gotham using the bats is being paralleled with Kate being excommunicated from the Bat family over in Detective Comics. So I didn't know that happened, and that makes the ending of this make a little more sense, because given the scale of the crisis and everything that Kate has to do, including blowing up her latest home, she drives all the bats into this ship that she'd been operating out of, and then blows it up to kill them, which is a commentary on her status of being kind of an addict, of destroying previous lives, as it were. So, like, she blows up her home, she does all this stuff, and it's created this whole crisis, and so there's no other choice but for her ally to call Batman in. And so that's the cliffhanger we're left with. And I didn't know what's going on in Detective Comics. I don't particularly care. This is the first time it's mattered in several issues. But man, that's pretty layered. I mean, I could tell Batman was going to be pretty pissed just on the notion of turning the bat into a symbol for all citizens to fear. I think that's pretty clever. And that's honestly enough justification for me just reading this series. I don't feel you even need the detective thing. Anyway. Yeah. Solid issue. Beautiful art. Great story. Incredibly layered. Really cool stuff. I really, really like this. This is great shit. Dr. Holocron says, Ian, can I use that clip of you saying it's comic books? Yes, you can. I've always wanted to be famous, and I will take meme famous. Man. Alright. Let's go ahead and go on to Batman, number 47. All these Tony Daniel covers have had the talking, the word balloons on the covers, and okay. It works. So Booster Gold has created, on purpose, an alternate timeline in which the Waynes did not die. And it is awful. He lost Skeets in this timeline. Skeets was destroyed. And so he spent a year trying to figure out how to make it all work out and get Bruce Wayne to help him rebuild Skeets so he can go reset the timeline. His solution was to bring Catwoman to the Wayne Manor. That did not work out, and Bruce Wayne's parents died when he was an adult. So it's been a year since that point, and we now have Skeets back online because Bruce Wayne has hired all his engineers to do it, because he's now become obsessed with killing Batman and Catwoman for killing his parents. And he also has Booster Gold, who he's held captive in the location of the Batcave for a year. So we're in a pretty dark timeline right now. Holy shit. This is a dark-ass timeline. And, you know, friends, Booster Gold's a comedic character. And he's really funny in this issue. Just, so hilarious. This issue's not funny at all. This issue is sad as fuck. Manuel Cabeza, I'm gonna go with Cabeza, says, move over, Flashpoint. Batpoint is where it's at. Yes. So much yes. So this is a pretty fucked up timeline. And Bruce Wayne now needs Booster Gold to take to get Skeets to take him back and stop his parents from being murdered. This is adult Bruce Wayne's parents, not, child Bruce Wayne. And so Booster comes up with the clever plan to say, yeah, take us to the night Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. And indeed, Skeets does, but takes them to when Bruce was a child. That pisses off Batman. That pisses off Bruce Wayne. So he shoots Skeets, and he's mad at Skeets. And then, of course, when you alter time, you never perfectly set it back. So Booster Gold and Bruce Wayne begin fighting on a rooftop. And gunshots ring out from Bruce Wayne's gun. That is the thing that makes Thomas and Martha Wayne decide to go down an alley as opposed to straight on down the street with their young child. Setting them in the path of Joe Chill, who kills their parents. We just get these two panels. Bang, bang. As adult Bruce Wayne realizes his parents are dead, and there's nothing he can do about it. And he's horrendously tortured by it, and commits suicide in front of Booster Gold. This issue's so funny. What the fuck, Tom King? Jesus Christ, Tom King, you're killing me, man. This is wow. That's dark as shit. And then so Booster Gold goes back to the proper timeline, only slightly changed now, and tells Batman and Catwoman all about this alternate version of adult Bruce Wayne. And now he can't get the blood smear off of his goggles. He keeps trying to wipe it off and clean it, but it just doesn't seem to go away. And he thought that if he told them, maybe it'd go away. But they don't seem to have much of a reaction to it. And so he asks them if they can see the blood on his glasses. Man. It's just heavy. It's just heavy as shit. And Tony Daniel's still killing it on the art, I gotta say, but nothing like makes you just be able to appreciate the art on its own because you're just so invested in how fucked this timeline is. And so yeah, Bat Point it is, man. Jesus, God, this is terrible. And not like this is badly written. This is really well written, and it's a really dark story that investigates the idea of trauma, but just does it to superheroes. And it just makes me want to read whatever the fuck Tom King's gonna do in what was it called? Sanctuary? I don't remember the name of the book. But Tom King, for DC Black Label, I believe, is doing a book that's going to deal with superheroes dealing with PTSD that they experience from doing superheroism. Manos, what the fuck, man? You can't be making jokes like that. I'm not emotionally ready for that. Booster can't clean the blood off of his glasses. He should try kaboom! Oh. Never mind. Oh, Manos. Right there, man. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what Tom King's going to do with his Sanctuary series. I think that's what it's called. I might be mistaking that, but that's soon to come. Anyway. Let's go ahead and move on to Batman Wonder Woman, The Brave and the Bold, number 4. This is a good series. Overall, I'm not in love with this issue, though it is pretty interesting. I really do get the sense that Liam Sharp is very much a fantasy reader. Because in a lot of ways, this reads like a fantasy novel, I think. This has a lot of the lore, a lot of the arguments and style of fantasy novels. And that doesn't, for me at least, translate well to a comic book. I don't know if that... I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. I don't know if that critique would be as present for someone who reads a lot of fantasy novels, though. For me, I do think it's fair to say that the amount of exposition and talking in this book is getting a little much, particularly that we're 4 out of 6 issues in. That I think's fair. But I don't think many other people, especially if you do read a lot of fantasy, are going to feel as out of place and have as hard a time comprehending what's going on as I personally did. So take that for what it's worth. But ultimately, what I think Sharp does just undeniably well is visually communicate so much in this. So we got like there's so much communicated visually here that's really cool. So much detail put into it that just makes it all feel so rich. And I really like that about it. So even though I'm having a hard time comprehending the words of what's going on, the visuals are really striking and help get me through it in a great way. So I think that's really interesting, that he might not be the best, at least for me personally, best exposition writer. He's really good at showing you things visually that help you get the point, even if you get kind of lost on some of the details. So I think that's really, really cool. So you get like this whole myth and legend about the fairy people here, and it gets all into it in a million different ways that I don't have the time or ability to explain properly, but I get the gist of it. This touches on an idea that I always find really interesting, and I wonder if there's any scientific basis for it or not. In regards to immortals not being able to remember as much as you would hope. Like, so imagine that you're immortal and you were born in, I don't know, 1000 BC, and you've lived to today. Do you have memories of 1000 BC? Or, well, I don't know, 1500 BC? I did that right? No, I fucked that up. Do you have memories of 500 BC? And then the way this plays with it is the memories of your extremely long life fade away and you just can't retain it all. And I've seen other things play with that. Doctor Who had a character whose name escapes me at the moment in Peter Capaldi's final season. Or was it his final? No, it was the season before his final. That had that was immortal but couldn't remember much more than 100 to 150 years of her life at a time. So she had to write it all down and stuff like that. And so, I don't know, that's interesting. And Philip Kelton says, I get your point. I can't remember what I had for breakfast last week. Yeah, sure, I imagine details would be lost, but I don't know, I have childhood memories. Will I forget forget that? Would I forget those? I don't know. It's weird. It's like your life isn't long enough to really think about it. And I don't really know the science of how memory works, if there is an upper limit to what can be remembered. It's just an interesting little thing I see a lot of writers doing, and it even if there's no scientific justification for it, there'd be no way to test, honestly, right? Even if there's no scientific justification for it, it is a really interesting storytelling device. Mano says, have you ever read Sandman? Oh, fucking course I've read Sandman! There's a great story where dinner with a mortal man once every 100 years to see how he's doing. Love that story. Actually, my favorite issue of Sandman. Hands down my favorite issue of Sandman, because it so subverts your expectations for what that kind of story should be. Regardless, though. So yeah, that's just really interesting little point, and it's kind of building into the whole story. And it gives me an idea of, if I'm going to be speculating, it gives me a pretty good hint of who the guy in Gotham that kind of got Batman involved in all of this is. The two cases that are connected, classic trope thing. What I do like about this is it's very, very much written like a fantasy story, but it's also very much a classic detective-style noir story. It's got the trope of the two cases that should have nothing to do with each other connecting together, and I really like that. That and the art's, it's just really good art, man. So yeah, it's a damn good book. I love the amount of detail Sharp puts into this, and so even though I'm kind of iffy on parts of it, I'm still really enjoying it, which is interesting. We're talking about Sandman in the comments now, and I'm going to say the same thing I always say when Sandman comes up. If you haven't read Sandman, what the fuck are you doing watching my show? Stop right now and go read all of Sandman. Then you can come back. I'll wait. Just gonna check my phone. Okay, has this bit gone on too long? Maybe a little bit? Alright. So Ian, is Brave and the Bold Sherlock in King Arthur's court? Yeah, I think you could say that. It's definitely got that element. It feels like I could see that being the way to put it. That'd work. Batman's like uncovering the mystery here, and yeah, I could see it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Daredevil, number 602. I don't know about this. So Matt Murdock's mayor of New York during a ninja attack. And the first couple pages are by far the most interesting thing. And I am dead serious. I would read a Spin City set in the Marvel Universe that wouldn't even have to be funny. I would so read what the office of the mayor of New York is like in the Marvel Universe. Because that shit's fucking fascinating, what they're talking about. There's a ninja, there's a cult of ninjas attacking New York City. It's comic books. There's a cult of ninjas attacking New York City, and the mayor's sitting here going over with his echelon, is essentially his cabinet, talking about, okay, what do we do? Well, we're closing down school like it's a snow day. That's our first thing. We're going to declare a state of emergency to keep the subways and buses and city transportations down to discourage people from leaving their homes. Just all these things. Like, I would so read that, man. I don't even care. You would have to... No, literally. You would never have to have any superheroes show up in costume. Like, Tony Stark could be there for an issue, but just in, like, a suit and tie. Not an Iron Man suit, just a suit and tie. I am dead serious I could so go with that. Man... Ninja Attack Makeup Day is a thing in Marvel's New York. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, man. So yeah, this is just really cool. Like, the first couple pages of this, I love. The rest, yeah, whatever, fine. Daredevil's like, gets Foggy Nelson there to act as his chief of staff to run interference with him so he can go be Daredevil instead of be the mayor. Why? It was so much more interesting when you were just the mayor. I so do not care if we just had it all be office politics, man. I was so down for that. Man. It's too bad. And Foggy Nelson makes a really good point here. He's like, you're not the only hero in this city, but you are its only mayor, and someone needs to be around and make the decisions. And I really like that point. And then, like, a Blind Spot jumps in, and blah, 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 blah. Matt Murdock and Blind Spot go out to go fight the ninjas at the police precinct, and then they get there, and they have to sneak across and action scene and fucking start investigating the building, and it's like, no police or bodies are here. What's going on? Oh, there's just this several story high hole, and I so don't care. I was so invested in the Mayor Matt Murdock stuff, man. I was so there for that. Like, can you feel me, though? Doesn't that just sound like... I don't know what it is. I've always wanted to, like, take a history class in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Or just the Marvel Universe, you know? Like, DC's probably got an interesting history class, too. But, like, can you imagine being in class and you gotta get quizzed on, like, when did Captain America defeat Hydra's forces before the Allies were able to invade Germany? That just sounds cool as shit. And, like, I can just imagine, like, the kids in the class being like, God, fucking talking about Captain America again. This is so boring. I just want to play on my phone. Oh, man. It's such a good idea, though. It's such a good idea. Seriously, just let me write the man on the street Marvel Cinematic or Marvel Universe book. I've gotten so used to just saying Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's my default. I don't know. History class in the DCU must suck. Once you learn it, it changes. Damn! Oh, damn, that's harsh. Oh, it's an incredibly good point, though. But damn, that's harsh. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to the last single issue of the week, which is Captain America, number 702. It's just alright. It's just okay. Like, I don't really have that much to say about this one. It's, you know, intrigue and espionage stuff. I like the flashback that happens at the beginning of this, where we get, like, a French resistance cell in World War II has an injured Steve Rogers, and they're trying to get him to safety, and this French woman, this French resistance fighting woman, gets shot in the shoulder, but in order to protect Cap from being killed by a dying German soldier, she uses the shield to block a bullet. I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that scene. I would just Can we do a new World War II Cap book? Can that be a thing? Like, I know, obviously, that we have the original Golden Age comics with Captain America in World War II punching Hitler in the face, yada yada, but, like, can we just get a book that just chronicles Cap's missions in World War II when he was the only superhero? Well, Submariner. But, like, I don't know, you had, Black Panther, Captain America, Flags of Our Fathers, and that was a really cool book where it showed World War II era Steve Rogers encountering Wakanda for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. Well, that was the second time in Hudlin's run, actually. I really enjoyed that. I could so go for just a Captain America World War II series. That'd be a great thing to do just one and done adventures in. Man. I come up with so many good ideas. And none of them will ever happen. And you're all shit out of luck. Yep. That's it. So yeah, then the rest of this is like Steve Rogers' ancestor, intrigue, future technology, blah 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 blah. We get another like weird flashback kind of thing to Cap fighting Red Skull, and Red Skull's got a power Iron Man armor that's powered by the Cosmic Cube, and he's got all of America in his hand, and it's burning. And Cap has to fight him and break the Cosmic Cube, and Back to the Future, where the guy that's Steve Rogers' descendant runs and finds the remnants of Cap's last stand and finds Cap's shield and removes it from the stone. And I kind of like the idea that Waid's playing with here, where Captain America is the Arthur of Marvel's America, the Arthur Pendragon of Marvel's America. So he uses the shield to slice open the what is mythically rumored to be the resting place of Captain America, who will rise again. But he breaks it open, and it's Red Skull. And then we get to be continued, and that's all. It's all well and good, but honestly, I like the stuff in World War II so much more. Yep. That is all. That's really all. I don't have much else to say. I just so like the World War II scene, and it just makes me want a World War II Cap book. Matter of fact, let's do something totally unprofessional and kind of funny, maybe. I don't know. Screen capture. Where am I going to screen capture? Yay, there we go. Alright, so I got that window. We'll go over to Twitter. Can you see my Twitter? Cool. Alright, let's play this game. I need to get out my keyboard. Hey, at Marvel. There you go, folks. You can retweet that. That's what I got. That's what I like to spend my time doing. That is all. That's all I really have for you. That's just, these are ideas I have. These are thoughts I have. I always used to talk to my dad, and he'd say that whenever he thought I was doing something stupid. He'd give me a suggestion, and he'd go, these are just thoughts I have. So yeah, there you go. There's that. Into the void. Oh, I'm getting buzzes on my phone. Let's see what happened here. Dr. Holocron, thank you for the retweet. Appreciate it. Thank you, bud. Anyway. Alright. let's go ahead and move on to trade talk. All right. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. This week we are finishing up Grant Morrison's Justice League run by talking about Justice League World War III. And this is the culmination of it all, and man, it is knuckin' futz. It is one of the most epic things Grant Morrison ever wrote, and probably was for the longest time until you got to, like, Final Crisis and Multiversity, where the scales kept getting more and more epic. Oh, and we mustn't forget Seven Soldiers. Yeah, this is pretty intense, y'all. So, the premise is that a weapon of the old gods, the gods that existed before Kirby's Fourth World, New Gods, the gods of the Third World, a weapon of the old gods called Megadon has reactivated and is making its way across the universe, and Earth's right in its line of fire. This was first seeded in Rock of Ages, when Aquaman and Green Lantern and the Flash were looking for the Philosopher's Stone with Metron. They ended up on Wonderworld, which is a world of epic scale superheroes that are all giants. And Wonderworld was preparing for the eventual arrival of Megadon that had been foretold. And so pretty early on in this book, you get a scene of Wonderworld again, catching up on Wonderworld, and it's been destroyed from within. All of it has been demolished. They fought to the last man against each other. The universe's greatest superheroes that are on such an epic scale, completely surpassing anything that the greatest superheroes of Earth could do, killed each other. Because that's what Megadon does. Megadon infects and incites war among planets it consumes. And that is fucking brilliant. And I love it. So the term World War III is actually completely accurate. World War III starts happening in this book. The Injustice Gang gets back together. They blow up the Watchtower. The Injustice Gang this time being Prometheus, Lex Luthor, the General, and Queen Bee. They blow up the Watchtower. They begin to infect the minds of world leaders. Nations start going to war with each other, preparing to nuke each other. And just all kinds of shit goes down. Just literally all kinds of shit. And it is just intense as fuck. You just get this epic ass fight between the General and Superman. Orion's got his war dog with him. It's cool as shit, y'all. It's cool as shit. Anyway. Yeah, so there's just tons of epic craziness in here, and I would never be able to describe it all. But what I really like is they come up with a plan, and it's Wonder Woman's plan in the end. Though I do want to stop real quick and read this Oracle line. Oracle gets a mother box, which is pretty sweet, and that gives her access to the telepathic field, so she can send telepathic communications through technology to the world. Oracle online and in your head. Troops on the march. Bombers in the air. The alarms are coming from everywhere. This is World War III. And you just get like scot-free. Not if we can help it. Man, it's so cool. You know, shit is going down. And then you finally get your first look at Megadon. That's Earth, by the way. It's just such an epic fucking scale here. It's so cool. Man, Howard Porter's art really starts to work for me here in a way that it you know, I was never going to call Howard Porter a bad artist, but early in the run, you could definitely feel him kind of, I don't want to say trapped, because I feel like he was making these decisions himself. You definitely felt that the style of 90s comics was affecting his style. But here, I feel he's much more comfortable in his style. He is much more expressive. And he's not being constrained by the conventions of 90s comic writing anymore, or drawing anymore. And so he's getting to do a lot cleaner stuff that just looks a lot better, in my opinion. And maybe that's because I'm a 2000s comic guy, and this is starting where we start to see that style develop. But anyway, the ultimate plan here is actually Wonder Woman's, because she doesn't like the idea of fighting to end World War III. It's contradictory. You don't fight to end the war to end all wars, right? That's contradictory to her philosophy. So she comes up with a plan, and it's a pretty sweet ass plan. I really like it. They go to Easter Island, and they've got machines ready to broadcast to the world. And so they've empowered everybody. Or they've got machines ready to broadcast to the world. And they want to know what to do and what they can broadcast. And using, you know, technology and all kinds of craziness, including one of the survivors of Wonderworld, they get the chance to give everybody on Earth superpowers. Because at the very beginning of Grant Morrison's run, the White Martians established that humanity was destined to be a race of super beings. But because the White Martians early in the evolutionary process messed with it, humanity was only destined to be human then. But that baseline of genetics was still there. And so, using all this crazy technology that I don't really want to bother to explain, they're able to jumpstart evolution. And I understand that's not how evolution works, but I don't care because it's so fucking cool. They're able to jumpstart evolution and give all of humanity superpowers. All 6 billion, whatever existed at the time. This is Oracle, digital telepathy. Hi everyone, don't be afraid. What we're feeling are new structures opening in our brains and bodies. It's like a preview of evolution. All this amazing stuff you're seeing and feeling is what Superman feels like all the time. It's why he wants to save us. So listen to me carefully. Megadon will destroy us all unless we stand together. Our minds are linked, and for the time being, we all have superpowers. Serious superpowers. I get an image of Batman just crushing a metal chair in his hand. And then Wonder Woman comes in. Oracle, I'm in orbit, breathing. I'm not sure about this, but I couldn't stop them. They said Superman had saved them more times than they could count. Stay information, everyone. Who said Wonder Woman? They wouldn't take no for an answer. And so you have Wonder Woman leading literally all of humanity into orbit to combat Megadon. So it's not a matter of like fighting, it's a matter of uniting. And that's so cool. And so she's like, Justice League reserves, onward. And the human race is now the reserve Justice League. And it's so fucking epically cool. So they're able to fight off Megadon, and Superman was captured at one point, and it got kind of interesting. I'll talk about that again. He's able to get out and absorb Megadon's power source and, save the day, basically. This is Oracle. Thanks to you all, there will be a tomorrow. Man, I really like that. Doomsday is cancelled until further notice. The Megadon warhead has been disarmed. I really like it. It's so cool. There's this neat bit, though, where Superman is captured, and Megadon is making him feel hopelessness, which is a kind of unique feeling for Superman. Batman has to try to talk him out of it. I don't know, it's just really, really cool, the scale and how amazing this is. And I feel like if I were to try to describe it too much, it's gonna sound really, really bad. But I don't know, man, something about this really, really works. I love this moment of Superman feeling hopelessness. No matter how many we save, we'll never make it right. We'll always be too late to save the ones we most needed to save. Better to die, just die, let it all die. We can't defeat this, we can't win against the end of it all. Oblivion, Megadon. All we've ever done is try to save Krypton or Mars, save our parents and loved ones over and over again. But we never will, we never did. And so you get this really cool image of, you got Jean, Clark, and Batman all mentally connected. And so this is the image of hopelessness that is being projected into their minds by Megadon. And it's just so fucking cool and crazy. And I kind of love that about it. You just have this mental flash. Man. So you got Death killing, Mars and Krypton as young Bruce Wayne sits there and is overwhelmed by the consequences, is the idea behind it. I really like that. This is a really solid end to a run. And Grant Morrison had one of the best runs on Justice League. On the regular comic review show tonight, I was talking about Bennett's Bombshells, which I also really, really love. And I would argue it's a better run on Justice League than Grant Morrison's. And so I want to talk about some general criticisms of Morrison's run that are the reason I feel why it's not the best run on Justice League. At least anymore. So first and foremost, Grant Morrison has a disadvantage that a lot of people writing Justice League, I feel, have, and makes me want more Justice League stuff that's not in continuity. Having to deal with continuity gets fucking ridiculous throughout Morrison's run. There's a lot of stupid shit that, it's fine. It's fine. We all know how comic books are, where, this character isn't this character that you're used to for a week or whatever. So, in Morrison's run, we have to deal with Electric Superman, Hippolyta Wonder Woman, and just for literally 2 issues, a Flash that is not Wally West. And it's not Barry Allen, and in the Justice League story, we have no idea who it is. I'm sure 90s and Flash fans could tell me who that Flash is, but honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the story, but because DC wants their continuity to be a thing and to matter and all this stuff, they have to keep it consistent in Justice League. And I understand that, but man, that makes it not age well. That makes it just really complicated and alienating to get into. So, if you were like me when I was a kid, and you grew up watching the Justice League Unlimited show, if you're a kid now watching, Justice League Action, and you want to go out and you want to pick up a Justice League book, you know what you're going to pick up? Probably not in the Captain America or the Daredevil book. You know what you're going to find in a Justice League book right now? If you go on the stands? This shit. And I'm not saying that as like a riff on Scott Snyder or anything, but like 4 teams of Justice League, and it's all connected to the DC Metal event and backlash or fallout from that, and it's just a huge fucking mess of a thing that for people that are really into like the DC Universe continuity and playing around with that stuff, yeah, I'm sure it's great and that's fine, but it's the epitome of unappealing and alienating. I've been a comics fan for going on 10 years now, like reading current comic books and stuff. I don't know half the shit that's going on with the 90s continuity. It's not relevant anymore. And so it makes this not age as well, which is really disappointing because it's seriously a really, really strong run. And in my mind, one of the best runs on Justice League. Just because I'm saying that Margaret Bennett has a better run, if you consider just Bombshells a Justice League book, which I do, even though she has a better run on Justice League, this is still in the top 5 right now. Like, this is still some of the best Justice League writing you're ever going to get. And I mean, it's really telling that the Justice League animated series just straight adapted a lot of these stories or really took the core premise and then ran with it in their own little direction. So it's that really, really helps, and it's a solid book, though. It is dead solid, but it's got its issues. It definitely has the problem of just being mired in continuity of the 90s, and that makes it not age well. I first read Morrison's Justice League run probably year 2 to 3 of me getting into comics. And let me explain how I got into comics. So I saw Dark Knight, and I got really into Batman, and I wanted to find more Batman stuff, so I went online, and I found a bunch of fan films, and I got into the Joker blogs, and so I started watching the Joker blogs, and then I decided to start reading comics, because that series wasn't coming out often enough. So I started reading, so I went to the library, and I was like, alright, Batman comics, let's find stuff. And so I found Dark Knight Returns, I found Killing Joke, Long Halloween, Batman Year One. I read through all of those, and then I started reading some more obscure stuff, like Under the Red Hood, or not obscure, but some more like modern stuff, Under the Red Hood, War Games, No Man's Land. So I started like dabbling into different areas of the continuity and stuff. And then, so about year 2 to 3, I started reading Morrison's Justice League. And I remember thinking it was really good and really liking it and enjoying it. Rereading this run has been quite an experience for me because I am flabbergasted at how little I remember about the particulars. And I think that's, one, because of a lot of the continuity stuff, but also I think an underlying thing is it's so big and so sprawling that I think you're going to have a hard time connecting all the events unless you read it in a straight go like I did. You know, I've been reading this the last 6 weeks, basically. 1 volume a week. And so, like, I remember reading World War III, and I remember all of humanity gaining superpowers. And I also remember I don't know. I'm trying, like, it felt almost like a new read on this one, even though I know I've read it before. So much of this just didn't stick in my head. Maybe that makes past Ian a bad reader at retention, but so much of this didn't stick for me for some reason or another. And I think a lot of it had to do with continuity and just the way Morrison writes. And so I feel like that's definitely a disadvantage this has. especially to new readers, because of how much of this is connected. Like, I completely forgot that Wonderworld was set up and paid off in World War III. I don't know how. I really have no justification for it. I completely forgot that this is the second time the Injustice Gang teamed up. I forgot who was on the Injustice Gang in this team. It seems like that should have stuck for me, and I guess it just never did, which is weird. So, I don't know. It's definitely, I feel, a problem on some level. Some of that might be me. Maybe more of it's, maybe some of it's the writing, too. I don't know. I'm not going to try to split hairs there. I just wanted to make sure I talked about that. But yeah, there's some really great stuff in here. I really like the scene with Zariel, the fallen angel. He gets killed, and so he returns to heaven. And he finds that heaven has basically just written off reality. They're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. They're doomed. Guess we're just going to make another universe. And Zariel is pissed by that. So he gives a big speech and says, no, I'm going back and I'm going to fight for them and with them. Zariel, this passion you feel is a result of too long spent embedded in mortal clay. Your flesh will be restored. Return to your earth and fulfill your duty there. Let's see. I pray you're kinder to the creatures of this new world you're making. I know where my heart lies. Oh, I skipped the speech, damn it. Zuriel, you have spent too long in the mortal world. The presence moves in mysterious ways. Its wonders too. Then the present speaks in me, as in all things. And I ask again, in the name of him who gave his life for humanity, will none of you take on mortal flesh and stand with me in their hour of greatest need? Have you learned nothing from watching over them? Have you not once learned love? And so then, as it appears he's going to be leaving heaven on his own, suddenly some angels... Zariel! I am Bemuel of the Bull host of the Pax D. I will fight at your side. And I am Amaphodo. I will take on mortal flesh. And I. And also I. And I. And I. And I. So he's like inspired the angels to come to Earth and fight. And it's so fucking cool. I love treating Christian mythology the same as we would any other type of mythology. It plays so fucking well like that. It's great. Man, I just love this book. It's super fun. There's this moment where the angel will actually get to play a bigger part as opposed to just being cannon fodder. Where it like shows all the world leaders about to launch their nukes. Why not just press the button? Better to go quickly. Better to die by fire and light. Give the cockroaches a turn. Then just one of the angels shows up. He's like, they're not quite ready for the responsibility, Mr. Prime Minister. Oh, that's so cool. So yeah, you have all the world leaders about to launch their nukes, and the angels all come and tell them not to. And that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I really like this. This is a really good book. This is really fun. It's a fantastic end to a run, too. It is so well done, so well planned, so well thought out. Morrison just did a great job on this. J.M. DeMatteis also has a issue in here in which the Justice League are dealing with the Spectre, Hal Jordan, the Spectre. It's an okay issue. I kind of like the point it makes where it shows you what Superman sees, which is even in the darkest of us, there is a small part of true hope and love. And they exemplify that by going into the Joker's mind and seeing that personified, and it totally fucks with the Spectre's beliefs on humanity, and that's pretty cool. So I certainly enjoyed that, but otherwise, I don't know. Just an okay issue. That's a fill-in between the parts of this World War III arc. And I don't know. I'd say that has some kind of impact on some of the themes here, playing with the idea of like the angels learning love and compassion for humanity, and I'd say there's a good argument to be made for that. I really miss Zariel. I don't know what happens to him. I can't quite recall. I don't think he leaves at the end of this, unless I just forgot, which seems entirely possible. Barda and Metron leave, and the Justice League gets a cool group shot at the very end, and Zariel's not there, but I don't remember them mentioning him not being around anymore. I don't know. I don't know if Zariel's in the next volume. I'm not going to do all of Waid's run, mostly because I don't have it, but Waid becomes the main writer after this, and he does not disappoint. He does not drop the ball at all from this, because he starts his run off with Tower of Babel, which I'll be talking about next time. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun talking about this one. This is a good time. Until next time, though, I will be reviewing some damn comic books. Woo! Oh, man. Alright, yep, not seeing many live comments, just talking about what's going on in the book, so I think that's going to do it also for comic reviews. Everyone, thanks very much for watching. Bye!